All right, hi guys. Coming to you virtually. No? All right. Today we're going to do section 3, 15-3, the area of a triangle, and also 15-4, the law of sines. This should be review for you, hopefully, and I'm not saying you remember it from last year, but so we're going to give you a reminder, but hopefully it shouldn't be difficult to understand. All right, so from geometry, you know that you learned the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height, right? But what about when they give you a triangle that's not a right triangle? What about when they give you an oblique triangle? That's what it means to be oblique, is that it's not a right triangle. There's still ways to find the area, right? So for example, if you are given side, angle, side, so that means two sides and the angle in between them, the area of the triangle, you did learn this before, 1/2 times side B times side C times sine of angle A. Angle A will be the angle in between side B and side C. All right, so you definitely need to memorize that. And let's just do an example. We're going to round all of our answers to two decimal places. They want us to find the area of triangle ABC. If side B is 13, side C is 15, and angle A is 71. So you should draw a triangle on your paper. I find it helpful to draw it every time. So here's angle A, angle B, angle C, capital letters representing the angles. And so angle A is 71 degrees. Side B is 13. Remember, side B is the one opposite angle B. And then side C is 15, which is the side opposite angle C. So see how this is the information they gave me. It is a side, angle, side. I got the side and the two sides with the angle in between them. That's a side, angle, side, or a sassy angle. I like to call it SAS. All right, so what is the area? The area is 1/2 B times C times the sine of angle A. You're going to put that whole thing in your calculator. We're going to round to two decimal places. So get out your calculators and put that into your calculator. And you go 1/2 times 13 times 15 times sine of 71 degrees, making sure that your calculator is in degree mode. And I got 92.188. If I'm going to two decimal places, then my answer will be 92.19. All right. Hopefully that was not difficult for you. If you have a question, right now is the time to raise your hand, and so that the sub can pause the video if you need to replay it, or maybe ask some friends around if they understood something, if you're confused about something. Let the sub know so that the sub can pause the video at this point. But if not, then we're going to go on to the next example. Or actually first, I'm going to give you another formula. What about when they give you a side, 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 meaning they don't give you any angles, they only give you the three side lengths? Well, we have another formula. And this one's going to look crazy. I don't know if you've seen this one before. But the area is going to be equal to the square root of little s, and if you've never seen this before, S is what we call the semi-perimeter. Semi-perimeter, meaning half of the perimeter. And perimeter means adding up all the sides. So S will be 1/2 of side A plus side B plus side C. That is half of the perimeter, or semi-perimeter. Right? So you're going to take the area is going to be S times S minus A times S minus B times S minus C. That's called, your book calls it Hero's formula. Other books I've seen calls it Heron's formula. Regardless, it is a formula you should memorize, and it's for when they give you side, side, side. So now, let's look at example 2. We're going to find the area of triangle HPJ. So if I call this H, and that one P, and this one J, and they give me that side H is 5, that would be this guy, side P is 8, and side J is 11. Again, I like to draw the triangle each time, just to make it to where I've got something to look at. Right? So the first thing we need to do is let's find the semi-perimeter. So the semi-perimeter will be 1/2 of, we're going to add them all up, 5 plus 8 plus 11, which would give you half of, what is that, 13 plus 11 would be 24, and half of 24 would give you 12. So the semi-perimeter is 12, which then means that our area will be the square root of, we start with the 12, and then times 12 minus 5, and then times 12 minus 8, and then times 12 minus 11. And we can simplify those. You could just straight up put it all in your calculator. You just got to be careful with your parentheses. But we've got 12, and then times 7 times 4, and then times 1. Well, that would be, makes it easier to put in there. So I end up getting the square root of 336, and when you go to round to 2 decimal places, I got 18.33. All right, right now is the time to raise your hand if you need the sub to pause this so that you can ask any questions, and hopefully people around you understood it, they can help out. But if you don't have any questions, and then we're going to move on to law of sines. All right, so law of sines is whenever you've got triangles that are not right, we can still find the sides or the angles even when it's not a right triangle. So now when they're not right triangles, you cannot use SOHCAHTOA anymore. You can't use Pythagorean theorem anymore. Those are only for right triangles. When we've got oblique triangles is what they're called when they're not right, we've got law of sines instead. And so it is, here is the law of sines. There's 2 ways to write it, but they're, like you set them up as ratios. So we've got sine of angle A over side A is going to be equal to sine of angle B over side B, which will also be equal to sine of angle C over side C. You'll only be using 2 of these at a time. You know, if you were given angle A and angle B and maybe side B, like you'll only be using 2 of them at a time. You're never going to set up all 3 of these fractions equal to each other, but they're all equivalent, right? Now, because these are proportions, you can also write them so that the sides are on top and the sign of the angles are on the bottom. And the reason why this is important is you save yourself some work if you put what's unknown on top. Not wrong to write it the other way, you'll just have more work to do. But anyway, so all of the sides can be put over sine of the angles. And you've got to memorize those as well. So that is law of sines. You do have to memorize it. And let's do an example. Example 3 says to round all of your answers to 2 decimal places, and we've got angle B is 64 degrees, angle C is 38 degrees, and side B is 9. They want us to find side C and A. So I'm going to label this first. I'm going to draw, just make sure you draw a triangle in there. I'm going to label it. Angle B is 64 degrees. Angle C is 38 degrees. And then side B, which is this guy over here, is 9. And then we want side C and we want side A. All right, so they gave us 2 angles and 1 side. And so this is actually a angle side is what the information that they gave us. Angle side they're not bad because we could find the third angle. Remember that the measure of angle A will just be the 3 angles add up to 180 degrees. So we'll just go 180 degrees, and we're going to subtract 64 degrees from that, and we're going to subtract 38 degrees from that, and that is going to give me that angle A is 78 degrees. So I'll put that in there so that I can see it. So that was not given, but I found it. Right. And then now we're going to let's find side, doesn't really matter which one. We can find side C first. So because it's little side C that I'm finding, I'm going to use the second way I wrote law of sines. It's little side C over the sine of angle C is equal to side B, which is 9, over sine of 64 degrees, which was angle B. All right, so now to solve for C, you're going to multiply both sides by the sine of 38 degrees. And so we'll have 9 times sine of 38 degrees divided by the sine of 64 degrees. And we're going to round to 2 decimal places, and so I get side C is 6.16. You should get that. Make sure, remember, your calculator is going to start a parenthesis after the word sine. You need to end it and then hit the divided by symbol. Otherwise, you won't get the same answer that I did. All right, we're going to do the same thing to find side A. Right? You cannot use Pythagorean theorem on this triangle, and it's because it's an oblique triangle and not a right triangle. Pythagorean theorem is only for right triangles. So, we got to use law of sines. Side A over sine of 78 degrees is equal to, I'm going to use side B again because that was the information they gave me, 9 over sine of 64 degrees. My 9's and A's look the same. So this is a 9, then this is an A. Okay, so multiplying both sides by the sine of 78 degrees will give you that A is equal to 9 times sine of 78 degrees. Make sure that when you put in your calculator, it's going to start a parenthesis, end that parenthesis before hitting the divided by symbol, and then sine of 64 degrees. And put that in your calculator. Rounding to 2 decimal places should give you 9.79. All right, right now is the time to raise your hand if you need the sub to pause the video to ask any questions from people around you, or maybe you need to rewind the video and rewatch it. Right now is the time to let the sub know. Otherwise, if you don't have any questions, we're going to move on to the example 4. Example 4 says, in triangle ABC, angle B is 64 degrees, angle C is 38 degrees, side A is 8, and we want to find side C. Actually, you know what? You're on your own. Do it. Do this. So if the sub could please pause the video right now and let students try this problem on their own, and then when it looks like most of them are done, then you can unpause it and I will show the solution. So please pause the video right now. All right, so what did they give us? They gave us 64 degrees. They gave us 38 degrees for angle C, and they gave us side A is 88. So this one is an angle side angle, is what they gave you. You can find the measure of angle A. Is this like the same as the last example? Oh yeah, so angle A is still 78 degrees by doing 180 minus 64 and and they didn't even ask us for angle A. They only want us to find C. All right, okay. Well, whatever, 78. You guys already have an answer. Did you get an answer of 5.04? You are correct. If you did not get that, then let's see what happened. All right, so I know I need to find side little c. So we got c over sine of 38 degrees is equal to side A, which is 8 over sine of 78 degrees. And so little side C is 8 times sine of 38 degrees. And remember, your calculator will start a parenthesis here, so make sure you end it before you hit divided by sine of 78 degrees. Your calculator doesn't care if you like end this last parenthesis here. I mean, technically it's there, but it's not that as big of a deal. But this parenthesis is a big deal. And when you do that, you should have gotten 5.035, which rounded to 5.04. Alrighty, that's it. That is area of triangles and law of sines. It's not all of law of sines. You're going to learn some more tomorrow about what we call the ambiguous case, but that's all you've got for today. Your homework for tonight is page 883. You're going to do numbers 1 through 8 all. And then also page 887, and you're going to do numbers 1 through 9 all. All right, guys, have a good day.